Okay, so this is going to be the Re-Occupy General Assembly. And we need somebody to step up and do facilitation.
I will definitely do facilitation.
We need somebody to do stack.
I'll do facilitation.
I already called facilitation.
Oh, you did?
Okay, so we've got facilitation.
All right,
and
no,
stack.
you know what? Fine, Mike. You do Mike, you do facilitation.
All right, you guys.
Actually, I say we go without a stack.
You want
you want to just let it flow?
Yeah,
well,
let it
we
flow.
have the stack right here,
Yeah.
and it is recording. Yes.
It's up to you guys.
Yes.
Yes, but
Everyone's okay with this being the stack.
As far as I know, it's recording. Can I get whoever's watching? Can you give me a yes? We're recording. We're live.
This is the real.
Not GA, but whatever we're calling it. RA.
If we don't have stack, we
Re-Occupy
Assembly. If we don't have stack, then the loudest person wins.
Okay.
I'm with that.
No.
I think that most people here are civilized and won't really let that happen,
Well,
and that's why. And the facilitator,
please.
I think it is a small enough group that I don't think we don't really need it. And I think that a facilitator
Well, hold on.
will suffice.
People are allowed to take notes. We are not exclusionary in wanting to keep records tight. In fact, that's one of the things I really want to see change.
Yes,
I'd
we're
like
live.
to make a quick introduction.
Thank you, MLK Studios.
Pirate Mike right here. Rob right over there. Bell right here. And myself were the founders, September 17th, of the original Occupy San Francisco movement when it was FDSF. And there is still a bunch of debate going on about some kind of property right issue that's going on. That should never exist in a sovereign occupation. That's exactly what this is. We are going to occupy this space. That is what an occupation is. It is to take territory. It is to hold it. Why are we doing this? Because there is a lot going on that denies people any use of fucking public space. We are seeking to remedy that situation. We are putting out a call for all and any help that can come and will decide to. We will be here. We will not go away. We will not die out. We will oppose anything unconstitutional.
I have a limited battery. Let's get this.
You have a limited battery?
Yes.
This is the Re-Occupation Assembly. Here we are now refounding it. These are the members.
Remember, the communication is really important between us, not just into that camera.
Right. So you guys, one of the things that we've been
these
putting our heads
are the members. These are the members of the Re-Occupy San Francisco.
simultaneously with some of the other cities in the United States. That date would appear to be February 28th. If we want to put out a decoy date, that's fine. I would like everyone to sort of concentrate on getting 5 people to tell 5 more people, etc., to bring their tents, and at a specific time that we'll release an hour before or something like that, we'll spontaneously erupt tents.
I think basically that's part of the working group that'll come out of this, but this should be kind of a short meeting if we agree on the basic idea of reoccupation.
Yeah.
And then agree on a working group and a time, and then we're done for tonight.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I'm with that.
I would like to state some of the first subvert, that is COINTELPRO, provocateur, whatever, proof concepts. These are the founders. We are going to make consensus about what Occupy San Francisco branch for the Occupy movement does. Anyone who would like to get in on that process will have to become familiarized with what sovereignty is and with what the process of occupation is. We are deciding that right now, and it will take consensus to change those rules. Bell.
I don't have anything to say to that.
Well, so far, we are planning on occupying this territory. We plan to hand out literature. We plan to address.
I just have some questions. So we're planning on occupying here at 101, right?
Yes.
And the next question is, has it been consensus upon to occupy with tents? Is that the best strategy, or would
let's put it right
occupying
now.
with sleeping bags possibly a better strategy? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Yes. Well, what we'll want to do to start here is make this, we're going to begin this kind of the way the last one was in its final stages. So yeah, the sleeping bag thing. Here during the day, full 24-hour information tables basically. But the main thing is, where do people sleep? Where do people eat? Where do people get loaded after a hard day's work? Right over there, where we used to live. Now that is going to have to erupt in a premeditated fashion that I need to decide if we all want to advertise that or not. I would love it if we had a march that led to the GHP, where people would then have a big party, and there'd be so many people around that there'd be a little core in the middle just quietly setting up tents so that when people disperse, the camp remained.
Okay. So, that's something we want to try at.
That's one thing I'd love to work with. Let's create
spontaneous combustion.
But my question in terms of strategy isn't there a better chance that we could somehow stave off police harassment if we're just in the sleeping bags and not the tents?
Absolutely, absolutely. But I think a lot of people would like to see that even if the tents are up for 3 hours or 3 days or whatever, I think it's still important that we just keep trying. You know, we just don't stop it. And
I also think that
I didn't really support tents. When we had tents, that's when the most drugs, drunkenness, and abuse happened. I wouldn't mind having a large tent that supports like maybe 10 of us, so we can all watch out for each other.
Yeah.
And so no abuse happens. But I don't support an individual tent unless it's for a kitchen.
Right, that's cool.
Okay.
I'm with that, and I think maybe like pop-up tents or large tents that are communal spaces, like you said, for things that are communal, like kitchen or information sharing, or just meetings that need to be inside, and for an emergency shelter preparations for rain, which we are going to move out of in a couple months. San Francisco has a long, not rainy season on, which would be great for this movement. And then sleeping bags, man.
Right on.
Pack your stuff up, and self-contained.
Right, any tents that should go up should be, expendable, basically. But it'd be nice if we just simply took our tents down and went neener, see you tomorrow when we put them back up, and we'll just keep doing that, I guess. I personally don't think it's a good long-range tactic, but we're in a cultural preparation.
I think a lot of that has to do with the working group and deciding the logistical specifics of it.
Alright, and may I go? I think that tents would actually be a great idea. It's where our home is. It's where this place really got going. It's where it brought a lot of people together. Now, on the issue of all the drugs and all the alcoholness and all the bullshit that went on, I think if we go in there with some ground guidelines, not necessarily rules, but guidelines, and we have them set, and the peacekeepers enforce those guidelines, and if you do not, and a simple saying, if you do not obey by these guidelines, you will be escorted by the rest of the occupiers out of the camp. Because we do not need negativity and negative attention here. It'll also eliminate any and all infiltrators, because infiltrators that come in automatically, the moment they show their true side, we march them out of camp once again. It keeps the camp pure. It gives them no reason to tear it down. It gives the police no excuse. I also, and I think that with this, everyone who comes down here and is the cry for help, and everyone who shows up, I think we should remain for 48 hours with those tents there and keep it building and have a strong force from the very beginning as a factor, to declare a message that we are here to stay and we're not going anywhere.
To get to the first guideline that I would like to put in place or propose to the General Assembly right now is 1. We are the founders. We are working with a model of everything is transparent, everything is community-based. You are working for the sake of the movement, not the sake of some splinter group. Can we all agree on that?
Absolutely. Unanimous.
Okay. Now, another guideline that I want to come up with is that we're going to start off, I believe the best way to get the ball rolling is with the basics. Sleep, not just sleeping, but tents, tables, literature, and actual protest. It is a guideline that you have to put in a certain amount of time that we can all decide upon to actually be considered an occupier until we can get security to sleep and occupy indefinitely space again. But until we reach that critical mass and get people on board and in a in a sense of unity, that is the best method to go by, so everyone can get familiar with what the process of actually protesting, having something to say, educating yourself, and challenging what is wrong is.
And just to add to Scott's thing, one of the things we'll want to do is everyone here is awake all the time. This is really a 24/7. Nobody sees anybody sleeping here. Sleeping back at the BMP, no problem. As far as drugs and stuff like that, everybody should bear in mind that this tent city, as little or big as it may be, may only last for a couple hours. But it's still important that it be like a flower that goes down at night, a narcissus or a lotus that shuts down at night and resprouts every morning. We can pick up the tents and hike them a block away. What's important is that every day people keep going to work and seeing us there every day again. They had to step over us, and now, you know, we're tired of getting stepped on and stepped over, and we're going to step up.
Hey, and just like as far as protest, I think that it's very important that the message is very visible to the public.
Absolutely.
The public that's walking by.
Yeah.
They need to know, because there are too many people who don't understand what Occupy is. People, passers-by, and they don't know what it is. The mainstream media isn't reporting anything worthwhile because we know why, because it's self-defeating for them. But the public, the passers-by, they need to know what is up.
I would like to say something here. I would support the idea of like working to have several tables with donation jars and specify that this money is going into a solid, real three-dimensional occupation that's sustainable. Work with the liaison, like the concept that we're going to be able to set rules and keep it clean so that the cops don't have an excuse to attack us is ridiculous. They made it plain they'll just make up excuses to attack us.
And that's what
we need to do is get back to the mayor, who's supposedly in charge of all this and working with the cops, in order to say, hey man, that was totally insane, cruel, and unspeakable for a San Francisco mayor. This is a city of protest, and we need to like really redress our grievances with the mayor so that we can have a three-dimensional occupation.
Right.
And I think that's like the kind of thing the public would support and put their money to in having with the signs, banners, and pinwheels.
The more they understand about it, I think the more they will.
That's true. Let's not lose sight of the fact that we've done this before, guys. This is not our first dog and pony show. What we have learned is to streamline things, and that you know, we can do this on a, you know, just be aware that it. Shit, I gotta take it off right now.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
If we're gonna use a talking stick, we should pass around a talking stick. But I do think that not having stack or a talking stick is leading to what I said, that just a few people are talking and people who are not as aggressive don't end up putting in their 2 cents. But so that's my point of process. But my question is regarding what Mike was saying before about not sleeping, because I'm confused. I thought I heard different things. So you're saying that in our 24-hour reoccupation, we're not going to have anyone sleeping? Like
No. Clarifying information.
Okay.
What I'm suggesting is that we have a place. We have 2 places. We have 2 places. One that is a 24/7 hour demonstration site where the people here will be awake whenever anybody drives or walks by. There will be people awake here. All right. And at the other location is where people will sleep.
Dude, stop blocking us, please.
We'll simply design a shift system. You know, people can work however much. Get tired, go back to the BMP. Tap out, grab somebody else who wants to stay awake from 3 to 7 in the morning. You know what I mean? I think we can really do that. I really think if we discipline ourselves on a shift system, we can keep this place active 24/7.
So
we should use a stack.
With that in mind,
all right. Yeah, let's have a stack. It is needed.
Attention on deck.
Pirates,
Attention on deck.
Can I jump on set too? Is that cool?
Yes, absolutely. We don't do that silly stuff.
Rob has one there.
All right, so
I know he does.
we all want to come to terms as a first basis for a guideline of how we're going to do this.
Do it quick because we're losing battery.
We are
unless
going
you're going to go to his.
determine an amount of time. This
Sorry,
group
man.
right here is the Re-Occupy. We are self-determining. We call the actions of OccupySF and our involvement in the greater Occupy movement, and we will come up with guidelines of everything that needs to happen. And we will be the ones who determine the acceptance of others based solely on merit. Definition of what involvement is will be one of the main guidelines stamped out immediately.
So I just want to bring it back down to like where we started, at least from my perspective, and about what Belle was saying, and that it's the group. We're planning the Re-Occupy. We need to agree to have a working group, and we need to set some times to meet. And then as far as like not just from my perspective, not stepping over what the first step is. Like we need to get back on the ground, which means like we were talking about tables and the space to sleep and protesting at the same time, and we need to do it as a group. And we should do it. I think we've agreed in solidarity with the rest of the nation that's going to be doing it soon. So we've got a date picked out for that. We've now got a group. This is us getting together to talk about it. So I mean, just brass tacks, date. We're set. We're reoccupying. I don't think we have the ability to say we're reoccupying and having a sleep space and a protest space at the same time yet. That's something we can talk about in the future as we continue to meet and as we continue to grow. But we're reoccupying permanently, informationally, housing, together, and we also have a group that's planning it. And
OccupySF Live. Okay.
Anybody else?
Because my battery's going to die.
To me, the important thing was
And if you're watching this stream and you want to catch the stream that's still viewing, that one right there, that is OccupySF Live on Ustream.
That's this room has got probably the most potential just because of that energy. However, there's other people out there, and I think it is also a good idea to lay out various plans, various places we could occupy, additional steps. And I like the idea of fundraising and doing it proper, making it beautiful, like we had before, and actually designing the camp in such a way that it was more amenable to like separate the I'm going to call them conservative people from the crazy people over there.
That's demographics that we will get worked out.
And I think we pretty much, I don't know if we'll see the same scene, but I'm thinking the idea of excluding all alcoholics is stupid, because basically this society is a bunch of drunks at this point. That's the only thing that's going to, like the baseball games, the fights. Alcohol is the last business left in San Francisco.
All that's going to be stamped out.
And what you were saying earlier about other groups getting their interest, that's good. We need to list the groups we should reach out to, and reach out to them and say, hey, you guys, it's like you crazy boat people, come on over. We're having a party. Like fill up that dock.
Sleeping here again? Here in the Fed, I don't think we should. I think we can stay here longer if we don't.
So we're talking about have a regular, like, first thing in the morning presence, like now.
What we're going to do is all figure out what's going to determine it. We're all going to come together and figure out what inclusion is determined.
8 people on 4 hours.
Okay, well then, if that's the case, then I would suggest that we just try and start like a 6 to 6 occupation to start with.
I'm cool with that.
And have a real solid like day presence.
Then have our dinner picnic over at BMP.
And then Derek was going to say something.
Sorry, Derek. I didn't see.
So one of the things I have a problem with is Occupy San Francisco money's in Susan and Rob's name.
Oh.
If we want to do a voluntary unincorporated association, we could do that and draw up guidelines real quick and decide who's members and all the rules. But I don't know about ex post facto, kicking out all the people that participated, but making a rule like such as you have to be here for like 2 1 hour or 2 hours a day, just to be a part of Occupy San Francisco and have that as a current thing. So that way we're not excluding anybody and they can come and occupy if they want to.
Right. Direct response.
Definitely. Bell was gonna say something.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're at the point where we need a proposal, and the secondary proposal is the working group to work all these things out that we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to give the proposal that we start Re-Occupy on February 28th.
Nice.
Pure and simple.
So let's go for that. Anybody blocking that?
Might I make a proposal, say, at $1,400? To get the time and everything else when we're going to do it, like the setup.
I think we can leave that to the working group at this point.
Totally. Reoccupy for the 28th, okay? Then
All right,
Mike,
so
you wanna throw
that's-
something in there, or?
Yeah, I love that. I just wanted to say one of the ways that everybody's included in the Occupy, but we still address things like emeritus service, is that I have discerned there's 3 levels in any movement: sympathizers, supporters, and members of the movement. The members of the movement, of course, will have guidelines that they have to adhere to, or they can be expelled, and that will cause shame and then motivation.
Totally.
Okay,
totally,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
It's more. It's
I just
something
wanted
for
to
us
address
totally
this
discuss
concern real
real
quick.
And then
Okay.
Derek wanted to throw something
So
in too?
everyone can
I
be a
just want to
part.
suggest that we start our own separate fund and declare a treasurer within this group.
I couldn't hear a word of it.
Manage these funds.
Again for the working group, probably, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Since
What
we
was
don't,
that?
we don't have any money coming in, but the working group will make that decision.
Yeah. I didn't
Our
hear a
questions
word
about
of it.
funds. Go ahead, Beth. Still, we're just piggybacking the February 28th thing.
My only concern is that I think we had a lack of sufficient guidelines in the previous camp, but I don't want us to go overboard and become oppressive by having too much guidelines and too much kicking people out because you didn't do this or that. It needs to be balanced.
All right. So Scud and then
Just a quick direct response. Beth, once again, it's by definition. Your merit and your actions are going to speak as to what your involvement is. As to kicking someone out, everything that I'm drafting right now is based on gradation of involvement. It's all about exposure. So obviously if someone who's been problematic in the past decides to show up, everybody knows that guy's a problem or that girl's a problem. But as in terms of participation in decision making, yes, people will be excluded based on merit or demerit in that respect. They come and join and give their concerns.
Once again, I think that's important.
Yeah, totally. Raul?
Yeah, if February 28th is the date, we need to be really clear on what we mean by reoccupy, what we can realistically accomplish on that date. I'm thinking like perhaps several donation tables, flyers on like one here, one down Market Street a few blocks, and one somewhere else that are manned and are like going out the information. Do we have our own press already so we can like get these things out? That's wonderful.
Once again, our working group, we're talking about things that we need to work on for the next step. So I'm going to put a new proposal up that we start a working group and we set a time and a day or days that we're going to meet so that we can hammer all this stuff out.
Definitely. I'm with that. It would be a proposal that we consense that February 28th is the day we're going to reoccupy, and then everything else that filters down from that is something we're going to start defining by having regular meetings, which we could decide upon right now when the next one will be.
Yes.
So we're not trying to force this
Can we
together.
decide upon a name here, as well as meeting times?
Reoccupy.
Bell's
And,
Trip.
and what about a mission? If we could get a name, a mission, and meeting times, we'd be more legitimate than many of our other.
How about OSF Sovereign Council?
No, I think right now, and we can use this as just
Great idea.
a working title, Reoccupy.
Reoccupy, I like it.
Okay. Secondarily, we're talking about which days are days and times that we're going to meet to hammer these things out, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, and do we have a mission?
Our mission is to reoccupy.
To initiate a wave of reoccupation.
What?
How about
Is that a good
real
mission? World
occupy?
You got that.
No, I think it's to reoccupy.
Okay, so the Reoccupy group and its mission to reoccupy.
Yeah.
That's how we consent to begin our mission / namesake on the 28th, right? And then when's the next time we should meet?
I like the after
Saturday.
GA thing. People showed up. I think there would be a natural carryover of people from the normal GA to
All right, hold
the
on.
Reoccupy
Hold
group.
on.
Beth is
When's the
gonna
next
go
time
too.
we should show up?
I was gonna suggest Saturday after the OSF slash, or what are we calling it? Action Council / OSF relationship meeting.
Now,
At
that would
4
be a
o'clock.
good time. And
At 4 o'clock. After that.
after that,
One of the problems with our last camp was that it exploded without enough guidelines being put in place. I am not here to do that again.
No, I don't mean at that meeting. I just meant since a lot of us will be
there
around
at
in
the
the
same
same place that we meet after that meeting.
Because we want to make sure that we
On Saturday.
can actually facilitate large populace. But you can't do that if you don't have enough guidelines. It's that
Right.
simple.
No, I mean our group should meet on Saturday.
I just want to make sure.
Can I suggest? I want to say that like we have a floor. We can announce that we're reoccupying and there's a group meeting. We should push it away from GA and other meetings because of the importance of what we're talking about right here, and the fact that like after other meetings I'm like mentally a little bit worn out. Like right now I don't really feel like discussing where we can and can't smoke or where we can and can't lay down, but we need to talk about that.
Those aren't
Well,
guidelines.
got it. Anyway, so I would just propose, like, say, I don't know, we don't have a ton going on Sundays. It's maybe like a Sunday mid-morning to afternoon meeting.
Before 3, because I'm actually doing a thing with Sarah Manatee.
Anybody else got an idea when to meet?
Sunday sounds good.
How about Sunday at 11?
What's wrong with Saturday?
We'll do Saturday?
There is also one last guideline I want to put into place right now. For right now, since this is an occupation and based on the way other things have gone on, we're going with a be there or be square philosophy. I don't want to hear about how people don't have their jackets on but complain about being cold, that they got somewhere else to be and got time constraints and everything and aren't occupying or aren't following up with the necessities. Again, it's all going to be about equalization of reality.
You gotta be there.
I'm almost thinking at this point we should have a time each day, and those who can make it, and we keep bringing everybody else up to speed.
That's cool.
You can't necessarily be demerited by not making a meeting, but you must be able to keep transparent as to what you're doing. Not everything about your personal life, but what you do for the movement, for sure.
So
I like Saturday too better than Sunday, since Beth mentioned, because Sunday we have that smokes council thing, and I just want to like sit. Personally, I want to sit in on that and see what's up.
What the hell are you doing?
So you want to go?
No.
So today's Tuesday. When's the next time we should meet to really hammer it out?
remember Saturdays, there's going to be marches too. So consider that.
anything like tomorrow at 2?
Tomorrow, Tuesday. I'm going to work on it right now, transcribe.
You need this?
You got, yeah. Can you hold this for a second? So I can put my cable on. Thanks.
This is going to
Well,
be the demonstration.
Let's start with Saturday. At what time were you saying, Beth?
I'm saying after that meeting, which is 2 to 4.
How about before, so we get it?
Yeah,
so we get the
and we
important
can
stuff
go there
over.
together.
Yeah, totally. How about 11 on Saturday?
But there's that march.
No, it's not. It's
Oh,
Friday
we
night.
did it Friday at 5.
Yeah.
All right, so Saturday.
Saturday at 11? Or is 11 too early?
No, I like 11. All right.
12 is better.
12 o'clock? 12 o'clock?
So why don't we do it? Actually, get a schedule. I can turn up a schedule tonight over at North. So
Saturday at 12 o'clock for right now.
do we want to do tomorrow
Not a
as
lot
well?
that's-
Well, I mean, we could do it every other day to keep it fresh and keep it going. I think
Yeah.
actually, if we
I
did it
wanna
every
get
other
these
day, we
guidelines
did it
stamped
good,
out
and we
immediately.
could do it at
Nothing will be voted upon until we have a quorum of founders.
Yes. Would so how about this for a proposal? Every other day at like 2 or 3. Rotate.
All right. So I just want to be transparent. Like personally, I'm still working in the real world, so I can't be here during the day during the week.
Don't worry. We can have a meeting whenever all of us
We
are
have
together.
emails and other ways to communicate as
Much
well.
like
Well, I like
condoms.
mouth to mouth. I'm so sick of technology. It's ridiculous.
Okay, so
I
what we
prefer
have to
smoke
do
signals.
Right now is every other day, 2 to 3, and Saturday at noon.
At noon.
At noon? Now where?
Here, 101 Market.
Right,
That's
yeah.
the proposal.
Damn straight.
101 Market.
Just every other day.
Every other day, 2 or 3.
So we'll go. So how about
How about tomorrow we'll start it at 2, the next day we'll start it at 3, after that it'll be at 2, after that it'll be at 3, and then Saturday it'll be at noon, and just keep doing it. Problem solved.
There's a lot of meetings at 3, so maybe 2 is good.
Actually, then 2 all the way around, do it
Yeah,
before the
it'd be
other
easier.
meeting so that we're ready to go into any other meetings. I agree.
Yeah, yeah. Solve it.
Right, just have certain conflicts, but I think the idea that those that can meet keep us all in the loop, and we keep them in the loop, and we keep moving forward.
Jim's
We'll
gonna
find
get us
time to
a
do it. So, 2
You
o'clock.
getting sick of that question yet?
Yeah, no, I
Saturday
can't,
noon,
'cause
and
I don't
Saturday
have 'em.
noon, we'll revisit all of this.
I agree, and we keep the schedule consistent throughout it. No changing it whatsoever. Even if it's raining, we'll still be here. If it's sleet, snow, whatever, we'll still be here. We'll meet.
This is San Francisco.
personal?
Yeah, thank you.
Not in a book.
How about this? How about if say as a daily routine for our meeting, we have Starbucks brought here.
How about we just got something we want? We'll bring
Come on.
something else. It's just-
The seriousness is that we're here. This is what we're
It's a
occupying.
matter of presence,
Oi.
and it's here.
Oi.
Working group.
Yeah.
To be honest,
We gotta watch this.
one person to buy coffee and 6 of us.
But
Oh, dude, I'm totally
So,
sure with that. I'm just
I've
saying,
already
like,
gotten
totally.
a crap
We'll go
ton
over
of
that.
messages
Just
from
like,
operation from this operation.
We can go there.
No, I hear you.
So we should
Like,
get together
You know, but I
So,
right now,
can we
I
have
think
a closing on this?
Some broad outlines and
Yes.
Thursday
That's
and
what I'm
Friday,
going to do.
2
Now
o'clock
I'm anxious
here,
to do it.
12 o'clock here on Saturday, and then we can decide from there, because not everybody's going to be able to make all these meetings in the next 4 days.
Yep.
But we'll be able to make enough of them to keep in contact with each other.
We'll certainly be
It's
sparse.
a rotating meeting
So you're gonna
schedule.
have one tomorrow?
Just a
or
rotating
not?
schedule.
Yeah.
Yes, one tomorrow.
Tomorrow, then
Tomorrow at 2, and then
not
it'll be 2.
Thursday.
Well, we have something else Thursday, but at the same time, I can try to be here as soon afterwards and get caught up, and we've got to
It's
get
every other day, so it's tomorrow and then not the next day, not Thursday. but
How about
then
we go? I think
Friday
what we were going for
and Saturday?
strong discussions.
Saturday at noon.
Strong discussions for tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday at 2, and then reconvene on Saturday at noon. Address all the issues and try to project what we want going forward in terms of meeting times
And every Saturday at noon as part of it. Why not?
And
That I could do Saturday at noon.
Every Saturday and Sunday at noon for the people who cannot be here through the week can be here for the weekend. So every Saturday and Sunday at noon, and during the week you do it every other day at 2 p.m.
How about this? Saturday.
Why not noon every day?
Because I know I ain't gonna be down here at noon because
How about
I'm
this?
clear on the other side of the peninsula right
How
now.
about this? How about this? Encourage discussions every day at noon at 101 and official meetings
At
be-ins
2.
at noon on Saturdays and Sundays to make policy and to make binding agreements.
Okay.
Agree.
Okay.
I'm thinking perhaps once a week for the policy, once a week for policy and binding agreements.
I think you're right.
So everyone can
Saturday?
Saturday.
yeah,
sure,
but
that's the
remember that
important thing, right?
that's 2 meetings prior to the 28th. We need more than that. One of the main things we need to decide is if
We need to have a lot of meetings
You
between
guys also
now
need
here
to
and now. It's going to
understand
require a lot of
openness
planning and a
and
lot of work.
Hey, Stack, I keep hearing 3 and 4 people talking at the same time.
Well, I was just gonna second that. We might once we have our guidelines in place and our logistics, then we might want to spend some time on flyers and getting it out on Twitter, on Facebook, making it, an official announcement of reoccupation.
As soon as we have
Absolutely.
everything
Does it
needed
make
in
sense
place.
then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon here, Saturday noon for policy meetings. The Monday, Wednesday, Friday are working group sort of banging out some ideas to bring to Saturday meeting.
Yes.
That gives us lots of meetings
Yes.
and 2 or 3 basic policy meetings. And having them here at noon will allow us to get the people from the TA as well.
Yeah, but I still say around 2 because I'm not going to be able to make it here at noon. Me personally, I'm clear on the other side of the peninsula. Well, not like,
I won't be here for during the week meetings either. But the point is that
but I'd want to be here for the during the day week meetings because I can. So if we can do it at 2 where it's workable, and I think more people will be able to, because hey, everyone can eat before they go to the meeting too, so that they have a full belly when they go in there and they're going in with energy and nutrients that they could put them at their best. So why not have it after lunch at say 2 p.m.
Let's all think on these things.
Well, but we can't think without having a next meeting date. We're working.
Right, Pirate. So tomorrow at 2.
Okay, I'm thinking that we can, with like all these meetings and 2 huge group meetings, by the 28th, figure out how much we can accomplish as a reoccupation, realistically.
Right.
It's not like we're gonna get like all 3 plazas.
No, I got
or tents or something, but some tables,
Functionality,
donation jars.
Gotcha.
Something.
All right, you guys are exasperating me. My
Look,
toes
I
are
know.
cold.
Why
Can we
don't
wrap
just
this up?
decide
How about
to plan each meeting at the end prior?
All right, fine.
Other than Saturday.
Other than Saturday. Okay.
Cool.
Okay, great.
Okay, we ready?
All right. So do you want to make a ending statement there, Scud?
You know he does.
This is people coming together to determine for themselves how they would like to proceed with living life. Everybody should have that fucking choice without worrying about being fucking nuked or God knows what from some silly bullshit like some Chinese dude put in my back pocket about torture. That's not the answer. Coming up with the answers is the answer. Yourself. We encourage you all to try it. It can be fun, especially when you get past all the hiccups.
Okay, we ready to consensus on this one way or the other? Okay, we're going to meet tomorrow at 2. We'll decide the next meeting at that meeting, and we're going to meet at 12 here on Saturday, and this is our working group.
Yeah.
On purpose to meet with our.
Don't tell you cool on 12 on Saturday.
I'm cool on 12 on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. I guess just keep me posted.
I won't be here.
Well, actually, no, I'd say Sunday at 3. That allows people to go to church out.
Right here, you're going to be right there.
No minutia
I'll
time.
be over there too. Starts right at.
Over there, right?
No, we're in con too.
Okay, well that's a different finance.
So you heard it here. We're Re-Occupy San Francisco. This is founding group that decided to set up the working group.
Reoccupation. With a working group. That has unity, solidarity, determination, honor, integrity.
You get a thumb?
Courage.
Alright, dude.
Mike.
We can all reach in all the way.
That's
I'd like to block. Can I block this? Because I can't make it.
What do you mean? Stand
It is unanimous.
See
right
him.
here.
I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to be on Saturday.
He's gonna film it.
I'm going to stay in touch with all of you.
Yeah. You can't.
And Rob, I can film it for you if you're not going to be
Hey,
here.
hold on, here's one last guideline. It is everyone here's responsibility to make sure every other member here and now knows what is going on. That is a responsibility and a duty. Failure without good reason, which can be determined by the group, and that's where majority does creep in, can debunk and demerit.
All right.
Damn sure.
Saturday at noon being the primary.
Derek's
like,
asleep.
Everybody here saying we can all be there that day, right?
Right.
So discussions during the week as much as possible, but Saturday at noon being a really important time.
Yes, for everyone,
group
yes.
And this continued, movement forward.
Yes.
And then if we meet every day, otherwise, beautiful. Keep talking
Awesome.
about everything, sketch out some ideas. Well, I'm sure we all will, and then we'll get them put through. Is that cool, Rob?
That's cool. I think we should end this because we're running out of power.
I want minutes.
What a minute.
If you're gonna have it without me, I want minutes.
All right, and let's end it with a chant. What kind of pie?
Occupy!
Damn straight!
Damn straight.
So this would be the closing of Re-Occupy San Francisco. This is the end.
Reoccupy.
The end of the Re-Occupy GA.
This is One Liberty from Re-Occupy San Francisco, signing out. Peace and love to all the world.